What's up, everybody? Brett here. We're back today looking at some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer replays. This one's going to be sent in by David the White Lizard. Thank you so much, David, for sending in a replay. And he's going to be up against Sindramir, playing as the High Elves, led by Tyrion. Very standard composition here for the High Elves. I see Lothern Seaguard, Archers, Spearmen. Just a thick front line with a thick back line, easily defended. And a little bit of cav. You got Dragon Princes and Silver Helms, and then, of course, Tyrion himself. Depending on how he's mounted or not mounted, can really change things up. So he's on foot. Wow, Foot Lord. Okay. Feint and Riposte I see to give him that physical resistance. That's going to be pretty good. But I personally love super wide High Elf builds. I think they're very effective. Having the Lothern Seaguard without shields, probably okay versus the Skaven. Your Archers are just going to tear up their ranged units. So, yeah, you probably have the supremacy in that regard, so you really don't need the shields. And then to keep these Dragon Princes and Silver Helms with shields back and hidden in the forest, smart move, because you never know how much artillery you're going to be facing, and you don't want to get your very expensive cav sniped out right at the beginning of the battle. Okay, a little bit more complication here on the Skaven side. So once again, very wide, lots of rats, not a lot of contraptions. So we've got a front line, we've got Skaven slaves, and they're going to be spears, super cheap. Just kind of throw them into the front line. I like that a lot. Let them take the archer fire on the way in. Perfect. Night Runners with slings. These guys have 140 range. They're kind of the true missile units of the Skavens. They have no poison. These are the standard variant. I think he's got 2 of these, right? Okay, so they can kind of counter skirmish. They're not going to do much versus spearmen or anything like that. But against the standard archers, they'll do just fine. Then we've got a secondary line with clan rats. Probably you could consider this the main line. They're chevroned up. So rank 9 clan rats. They're just your standard clan rats. They're not shielded. They're just going to be relying on numbers to kind of get in there and tie down whatever they can. And then as a bit of a punch, you'll see rat ogres mixed in. They can do well versus cav. They've got armor piercing and frenzy. They really just want to be on armored infantry. But against something that's not really meant to fight large targets like the Silver Helms, they'll do just fine in tearing them up as well. So we've got 2 groups of those. And then out on the flanks, we have the Warp Grinders. So a unit I haven't had a chance to play with as much as I would like, but they have some very cool abilities. Seismic Snare, so they can stop a unit from moving, and then they can follow it up with a Warp Quake. So causes damage to combatants, strong versus multiple combatants, and it lowers speed as well. So they have lots of ways of kind of controlling. They're very much a control unit, and out on the flanks, they are very good at that. And they're armor piercing as well, with some magical damage on top of that. And then the Avalanche Mortars, which, you know, give them the range superiority. 250 range on these guys, magical damage as well. But they're going to rain death down on the High Elves. If I was the Skaven, I probably wouldn't advance. I would make the High Elves come to me. And maybe they are marching. It's just in slow-mo and it's hard to tell. But yeah, the Avalanche Mortars, you want to let them get as much value as they possibly can. But here's the real sticking point, the real hitting point of the Skaven build, and it's their Hero and Lord Core. So you've got 1 Plague Priest in the back, many spells on him. We've got Blessed with Filth, we've got Vermintide to summon some more Clan Rats, Pestilent Breath to summon some Plague Monks, and then you also have the Scrying Stone. So that can give damage resistance as well as leadership. We got the Assassin over here, who's going to be kind of a good buddy to the Lord choice. So we've got the Rival High Talisman, Assassin's Trophy, which are excellent debuffs, and then you've got the buffs of Skaven Brew plus Slippery. So you pop all those things all at once, and all of a sudden, you're doing a ton of work, and whatever you're fighting isn't doing anything at all. And then the Master Assassin for the Lord, very cool. Very cool models on these dudes. And they have, let's see, the Sacred Banner of the Horned Rat, so -8 leadership, very cool. Alright, Slippery, of course. Rival High Talisman, again, you can double up on that. But they have Looming Dread. So they can use this on a Lord or Hero to greatly lower their speed, missile resistance, and melee defense. So look for some sniping strategies, perhaps, as we get into this. And man, those Poison Globes. Those Death Glow Mortars, rather, the Avalanche Mortars. Those dudes are incredible. And it's all infantry, so they've got the pick of the targets. But the Archers for the High Elves are just going to go in and They really just have their pick of targets. There's so many ranged tools on this side that they can really just put 1 on every group. There's no shields. There's really no resistance to the archer strat at all. It's kind of crazy. Send the spearmen out ahead, let them tie down what they can buy time for the archers to shoot. I think that's just the best strategy. And then, yeah, let Tyrion engage. He's on foot. And with Assassin's Trophy, with all of these slowing abilities that we've seen, he's not going to be able to go anywhere once engaged upon. God, that mortar's devastating. Definitely switch up. I like what he's doing. Take a few shots here, take a few shots here, and then just keep switching. Go after the healthiest targets you can. We've got some clan rats summoned in the back. Looks like there's going to be some plague monks. Yep, so that's a good one too. And they're going on to archers, not necessarily the Lothern Sea Guard. These guys will tear up archers. Looks like they're being a tiny bit mismicroed, but I'm sure he'll get onto that in a second. It looks like he's microing many things elsewhere. And he's got a bit of a duel going on here right now between Tyrion and this assassin. So Tyrion, without a doubt, will spank this assassin, even with all those debuffs applied to him. His stats are like otherworldly. He just naturally rests in the 70s. And once he pops things like Feint and Riposte, he just does incredible work. But Looming Dread, Rival High Talisman, and we can just sit here and watch the ninja moves. We know what archers do. We know. Let's go ahead and K-mode it too. Oh, here comes the Cav in support. Get in there, buddies. The Silver Helms are going to try and save him, because he was getting tanked. Yeah, guys, we know what rats do. Rat Ogre's coming in from the side. Hell yeah. And just the missile play everywhere. The Spearmen, no doubt, holding it down. But we've also got the Warp Grinders. It's hard to see exactly where they're being effective. These Plague Monks, not up to very many kills. I think they mostly just sat there, sadly. But Tyrion. Tyrion is broken. Not something you see in the beginning of most battles. That's for sure. And the Master Assassin is going to be chasing him. That could be dangerous, man. Even in this low state, once he recovers by himself, he's one of those units you can't underestimate. He doesn't have his, God dang it. It's the Heart of Avalorn that revives him. When he goes down to super low, he just gets a huge burst of HP. He doesn't have that. Oh, we have some Storm Vermin. I don't know how I missed these guys. Were they mixed in amongst the normal troops or just kind of off to the side? Are there any other surprise units that I missed? But they got dumped on, looks like pretty much. I think right now, the Plague Priest is the one that's doing the most work. He's got up to 5 kills, but his summons are tying down all of these ranged units and allowing this kind of very cheap, scrappy Skaven army to break even a lot of these fights. The mortar's still online. It's going after the Dragon Princes, who were able to push off a lot of this stuff, but now that the Skaven rally, you know, you gotta wait for that second wind. They always break. It's the Skaven, right? They're gonna break on the initial charge, but then they're gonna come back, and you gotta be ready for that. I like to reform my ranks. Sometimes it's not worth chasing, right? Is it worth using, and this is not a great example, but like an expensive, let's say a Dragon Prince unit to chase off a group of clan rats that are at like 20% health? No, it's not. It's much better to bring them back to the center of the fight and reform your ranks. So that was a close victory. I mean, maybe a bit premature on the high elf side, but once Tyrion starts running, that's it. That's all she wrote. But very good play. I mean, most high elf players don't expect Tyrion to get wrecked like that, but it's just the combinations of buffs and debuffs from the Assassin and Master Assassin. There's almost nothing in the game that can survive that, and like that kind of a 1v2. I can't think of a single lord that has the resilience necessary. Maybe Belegar. Belegar, full defense mode, probably could survive that for a while. Everyone else, I don't think so. The Avalanche Mortars did great work. Yeah, and everything else was just there to die, to live long enough to facilitate, I think, the gank, which went off without a hitch. Had Tyrion been on his mount, though, could have been a whole different story. He might have been able to go in, go out, and I think this battle looks way different if Tyrion doesn't get shanked in the very beginning. But he got assassinated, and that's what this was all about. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're playing on the ladder, if you're playing your own quick battles, watch out for anyone who does a Skaven build with an assassin. If I'm the Skaven player, if I'm the high elf player rather, and I look across the battlefield, as soon as I see an assassin and a master assassin, they will be stalked. But as soon as you realize you can't see the lord, you're like, okay, this guy's got an assassin. I need to watch out for my lord, and you need to play a little bit more defensively. Throwing him in the center of the front line, you know, not the best choice. But good play, however. And guys, thanks so much. Thanks again to David the White Lizard for sending it in. Thanks to Syndramir for playing a good game. And guys, if you'd like to send me replays, all you got to do is join the Discord, and there's a Total War replays section where you can submit them. And I'd be happy to get some new blood in there, and we can start casting some more Total War Warhammer 2 games. Cross your fingers. I've heard rumblings on the Reddits about the new DLC. Potentially some news coming out in May, I do believe, which is, it feels like a long wait, but I think with all that's happening in the world, the people that work at CA are probably, you know, better off working from home, and that probably slows down the pace of development and things like that. So understandable, all understandable. We'll get all good things in time. All right, y'all, take care, stay safe, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Later, guys.